City podcast.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Keys to the City. I'm your host, Trevor Keys, alongside the big brother, Ted Keys. You can check us out at clovercrestmedia.com, Twitter, Instagram. For live shows, you can check us out at Facebook. And if you don't get an opportunity to see the live shows, we do stream on Spotify. We get our audio on Spotify, YouTube, as well as iTunes and other social media platforms. So check us out, Keys to the City. I'm just thinking because I'm just waiting to explode. And that's reality. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, there comes a time in life, in every human being's everyday life, that you look in the mirror and you really have to have a sit down and you say, what are we doing? What is our life going to be? Right now, people go through crises left and right. The New York Yankees, what do I have to say? What do I have to say? To think what this season became and what it was, how it started, how everything was amazing. Everything was riding high for the city of New York, with the New York Mets as well, but specifically the New York Yankees. To see this season unfold the way it did, and last night, Ted, it was kind of poetic. You think about last night's game, Ted. Last night was poetic of the 2022 New York Yankees season. First inning, couple innings, 3-0. Oh, okay, we got some life. Here we go, getting some excitement. And what do? They give us blue balls. Then all of a sudden, they become the same old New York Yankees, striking out, giving up a 3-run home run, back to normal, ladies and gentlemen. And then what else is new? They're still fighting. They still gave off a little fight. But good old Yankees coming in sloppy in the infield with IKF and Gleyber Torres. Ted, you look at this entire situation, this franchise. There's a couple of teams I can relate this to. I can relate this to a couple NFL teams. One, just like the New York Yankees, who are very famous in their sport, the Green Bay Packers. Why do I say the Green Bay Packers? Because both teams, no accountability, always excuses. That's all I hear from both of these franchises. Both can't win under pressure. Both can't win in the big moments. Always coming up short. This is the problem with this New York Yankee franchise. And it was just Ted, there's a lot of problems. But you look at how this was the final straw. 5 ALCS appearances. 2022, 2019, 2017, all to the Astros. Then losing to the Tigers in 2012 and then the Rangers in 2010. That's the first time in baseball history, by the way, that has happened. You look through this entire franchise. Another franchise I'll relate it to, Ted, is the same team in your city just under a year ago, the New York Football Giants, where they were a shell of themselves, where they became a laughingstock in the sense of, oh, they couldn't even get out of their end zone. They had no respect within their peers. The New York Yankees have become a team that says, we're okay with accepting just getting to the playoffs. They want to be cheap. And you know what? Their only title they've won in the past 20 years was because they bought it. Yes, Yankee fans, we bought it because of getting Mark Teixeira, CC Sabathia, and AJ Burnett. There's no fire. Like I said, no accountability, no hustling, and the same old effing results. The first team, Ted, to ever get swept and have 50 strikeouts in a postseason history.
Sure. That was wild.
It was a stat. And I remember last year, Aaron Boone made a quote that I got this morning, and he said, after last year's game to the Boston Red Sox, the league's gap has closed on us. What do you mean by that, Aaron Boone? No, the gap between the Yankees and the rest of the MLB, the top talents of the MLB, you lost the gap. You're not the same old New York Yankees. This isn't the 1990s where you think we're the New York Yankees. Everything is going to be all right because we're just that damn good. No, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the case anymore. The New York Yankees are second fiddle. They're second fiddle to the Houston Astros, a far superior team. They are a far superior franchise, and it showed for this entire series. It showed in 2019. It even showed, you know what? Hell, I won't even go to 2017 because that team, like I said, we never expected them, so they don't get knocked for it. But every other year since then, that was it, the peak. The peak of the New York Yankees was in 2017. Look at them now. They're an embarrassment. They just got embarrassed off their field, and they just got swept to the team that's been slapping you around slash bitching you around for years now. There's no accountability in this franchise. Look in the mirror and say this time that we need a change because they're not winning. They're not going to win. They are not the New York Yankees, Ted. They're not the New York Yankees of the 90s. This is 2022.
They are closer to their their neighbor down the street, the New York Mets, than they are the New York Yankees. And you were talking about the ALCSs, 5 ALCSs. Well, you also got to add the last couple of years, 2 ALDS losses, 2018, 2020, the wild card game in 2021, which was the one game. So if you think about this team peaked in Game 7 in 2017, the team that was not supposed to be there, the rookie seasons of Gary Sanchez and Aaron Judge. That's the team. This team now, we added Stanton. Like, oh my God, we added Stanton, we added DJ. This team has gotten worse than it's gotten better in the last 5 years. This team is not a good team. I joked with you before, and I'm not going to do it on the show, but this is like meeting someone in a relationship or something. In the beginning, everything seems great. That person looks like the part. They're beautiful. They got all these things going. And it's like the honeymoon stage that we always talk about in relationships. And then what happens? A year later, you find out who the person really is. We were fooled by this New York Yankee team, Trev. We were laughing. We were doing the first week of the show, like, oh, we'll lose a couple games. And we're like, oh, man, here we go again. But then we're relaxed. And then we're like, this team starts out 49-16. They're on pace for 120 wins. Then what happens? We find out what this New York Yankee team really is. They finished 53-53 the last 106 games of the season. They were a 500 baseball team. They were not a good baseball team. We were fooled. That's why last night when I thought about the game and I was like, I'm not really in a ranting mood about this. I'm not in a ranting mood. I'm not angered. I'm not like crazy. I'm not emotionally like, oh my God, it's awful. I'm not stunned by the results. I would have been more stunned if the Yankees won the series than them get losing. I'm just disappointed, Trevor. I'm disappointed by the way the Yankees finished the season. We were not a good baseball team, bro. We had not been a good baseball team the last 2 months of the season. We barely got by the Guardians. They were up 2-1. We had to win the last 2 games. We were not a better team. The two best pitching staffs, the Guardians and the Astros, shut us down, bro. I saw it this morning. I had a bunch of more stats, and I had them in the pictures. I'll probably look it up. But Judge batted .063 in the ALCS, bro. What was it, 1 for 16? Your best player batted .063. I mean, what's there to say about the Yankees?
I got some stats. Hold on.
I know you got a bunch of stats, but here's what I'd say is last night was a culmination of the Yankees playoffs results, right? You start up 3-0. You jump on them early, right? You jump on McCullers, you get the 3-0 lead, right? We realize Nestor's dealing with a groin injury. Why they didn't pull him earlier? Why he's even starting? Supposedly had issues in the Guardian series,
because we have a buffoon as a manager.
Well, that's the typical Yankees. So so we get through. Now, what's it? They hit the 3-run home run. Okay, whatever, they tie it up. We take the lead because our best hitter in the playoffs, Harrison Bader, hits a home run. So we take the lead 4-3. Here's where the Yankee season kind of, for me, in a kind of crystal globe where you shake. Jonathan Owiza, ground ball hit to first base. They're in the shift, of course, because the Yankees are in the shift. They got 5 guys to the left when Altuve can hit the ball anywhere he wants. Hits the ball closer to second. Rizzo has to come off the first base, field the ball. Owiza doesn't run hard right off the mound, off the bat to first base. He then realizes he's got to get to first base and beat Altuve. Great play by Rizzo. Altuve beats him by an inch. Well, then what happens, bro? A routine double play ball gets misplayed by IKF and Gleyber Torres. You could put it on either guy. You could say IKF didn't come under control, should have been under control, ready for a bad, because the point is get the lead runner. You did not get the lead runner. Gleyber makes a bad transfer, toss to second. They get man at first and second. What happens? We get the base hit. by Jordan Alvarez, and then Bregman comes through. Like, their big-time guys came through. They were all clutch. Bregman, 2 strikes, chokes up, punches the ball to right field. Altuve, who hadn't hit in the series before that, comes through when they needed to. Jordan Alvarez comes through. I mean, everyone on this. Pena, the rookie kid. They let go of this guy who was a really good player, Carlos Correa. They brought in a rookie kid. It wasn't too bad. He actually, I think he's going to win the Gold Glove at shortstop. He was one of the better shortstops in the league this year. But here's a guy, young kid, stepping up to the plate. And he was one of their better players in the series. I'm just disappointed because this Yankee team, to me, is fool's gold. You go through the whole map, you go through the treasure, and then when you get to the treasure chest, it's really just fake gold. This team is not really good. They do not have clutch players. They don't have the heart and muscle that these Yankee teams or what we grew up on. They have not been a good team. They are fool's gold. Garrett Cole is a really good pitcher. But our manager doesn't have confidence in the $36 million guy. He'd rather bring in our 4th best reliever in a crucial situation, Lou Trevino. We know we were talking about the game before this. I mean, DJ's old. Josh Donaldson. He's old, bro. We're living in the past. He's 37 years old. So what we have is a bunch of misfit toys on a team carried by one guy who had the best offensive season in his career or in history of baseball. We really won 99 games. A team that had like more than 60 wins and also only won like 36 games. This team is not a good team. And it was proven because the Astros have proven once again that they're the better team. They have a better pitching team. They were the better hitting team. They were a better bullpen team. They're better managed. They're better run organizationally. There is no more cheating scandal. You can hate them if you want, but they are just better baseball team. And Yankee fans have to understand that. There's nothing to hate on the Astros. They're just better than you. That's plain and simple. That's the hard truth that Yankee fans have to realize, that they are just a better team than you.
I just have some stats coming in before last night's game of just a breakdown of what this Yankee team accomplished so far in this just forgotten series, pretty much. Like I said, coming into last night's game, Yankees hitters were batting. I had a 33.6% strikeout rate this postseason, highest in postseason history. In their 10 games, not including last night, playoffs included, the Astros led in 463 plate appearances. The Yankees, just 7. If not for the 2 walk-offs, the Yankees would have gotten swept. And the lineup was a combined 161 batting average in the playoffs, all heading into last night's game. You also brought up the guy Pena. And this is where my biggest fault is with the and problem that I have with the New York Yankees. They suck. They have to be one of the worst franchises in baseball, without question, that know how to develop players. Like, I'm terrified, and we already got a glimpse. Oswaldo Peraza, I should say. We didn't get to see much of him. What, are we scared to play him? Jason Dominguez. I fear for him. Anthony Volpe. All these great young prospects that we've been gloating about from Yankee fans and hearing about throughout baseball beat writers. I'm terrified. Because are they just going to be another Gary Sanchez? Are they just going to be another Devi Garcia?
Well, we won't know that if they don't get called up.
Are they going to be another Clint Frazier or Miguel Andujar? Guys that had all the great potential, but the Yankees once again suck at developing. And I want to compare this to the Astros. Because the Astros, let's see. They lose a guy in George Springer. Looks like they're not going to be able to replace him. Oh, yeah, they got a guy named Chaz McCormick. I don't know if you remember. He's the guy that hit the 2-run home run against Cole.
Kyle Tucker's been a really good player for them.
Dallas Keuchel, another great Astro pitcher at the time. Oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to replace him. Oh, they got this guy, Framber Valdez. Yeah, he's pretty lights out this year, too. Another lefty was pretty good. And then you just said it. Carlos Correa, Yankee killer, a killer in baseball as well, in the sense of just clutch hitting, power, does it all well. But he's forget about him. Oh, what do? They just go get they just develop a rookie kid in the ALCS MVP. That's the thing with this franchise. We're terrified. We're hesitant. We're scared. We're a bunch of babies. There's no fight. There's no Darryl Strawberries anymore. There's no guys that want to fight. There's no CC Sabatias anymore. We're leading by a coward of a manager. And I know that I was looking at reports. Oh, Hal Steinbrenner really likes Aaron Boone. He doesn't want to get rid of him. Hey, Hal, guess what? If you want to accept just getting to the playoffs, then so be it. Be my guest and keep Aaron Boone and keep the exact same club, because this club with this manager is not winning a World Series. We've seen it since 2017, aka the peak years, because that was the ultimate high of the New York Yankees, because everything ever since then was supposed to be, the New York Yankees are going to take over the MLB now.
Well,
If it's been anything but that, Ted. It's been anything but that. And whatever, Joe Girardi, I love Girardi at the time. I know he probably wasn't fit for it. Whatever. Look at the Phillies. But Aaron Boone has made this franchise. There's no accountability. We got guys not hustling out of the box. We got guys admiring singles down the line, Josh Donaldson and Brian Cashman. We have people in our front office that have been here for 30 years. It's like the New York Giants. We're literally saying the New York Giants. The only difference is the Giants sucked, and they were a laughingstock in the NFL. The New York Yankees, everything got blurred away because at least they made the playoffs. But guess what? The results ultimately were a massive failure and a massive disappointment for Yankee standards. If you're a Yankee fan, you know the standard. It's winning championships, and winning championships. It's not getting to the first round and being eliminated and getting embarrassed by the Boston Red Sox, embarrassed by the Tampa Bay Rays, and most certainly the Houston Astros, Ted. This is a bad
This is
a sad-ass franchise.
Hal Steinbrenner is not his father.
Well, guess what? We need the boss to come back.
He's going to bring back Boone. You know it, because he just gave him a 3-year deal. I get it. It's the same old story. We would swear and be crazy lunatics if we could, but we're not going to. We're going to be respectful.
This is a PG-13 show.
We'll make it PG, but it's
bullshit. It's bullshit, bro.
When you and me talked about stuff the other day, we're like, they need a New York Giants page. They need to start fresh. Like,
can you believe that we're saying that, Ted?
Joe
Take
Shane
a page out of the
Brian
New York
Gable,
Giants right now.
Here's the perfect example. The Phillies, who were going to be one of the worst teams in baseball the first 2 months, decided to trade. Oh my God, get it together. They fired Joe Girardi. Yeah. Everyone was like, "You fired the manager too early? Let him." Look at where they're at now. Now you could say
they're 4 games away from a world title.
Now, here's the other thing. Their best players have stepped up. Bryce Harper worth the goddamn money that he got paid, $330 million.
Shame on us for thinking that at the time.
All those guys. Real Muto. Remember? We wouldn't want him as a catcher. Not a bad guy. Hoskins is one of their guys. John Shigera. I mean, another guy that you and me have loved for the last 3 or 4 years. Oh, my God. He'd be a perfect DH for the New York Yankees. I know he can't play the outfield.
Schwarber,
man. Kyle Schwarber. Oh, he's the leadoff. Boom, baby. Kyle Schwarber.
And then look at their pitching staff.
Wheeler, the ex-Met, and Aaron Nola. And then their bullpen, which was supposed to be their liability, was one of their stronger suits. They're 4 games away from, think about it. They took out the Cardinals, which you had winning. Then they took out the Braves pretty easily. And then they took out the Padres. Now, the Astros, they're 7-0. And if you look at this series, the Astros had a tougher time against Seattle than they did against the Yankees. Now, you could have said, hey, listen, the Yankees were 3 games where they had an opportunity to win the games. They didn't score runs. They couldn't come in through the clutch. I know these screenshots are from Game 3, but I still want to – this gives another perspective of the Yankees. Josh Donaldson, this was up until Game 3. He was 3 for 21 with 13 strikeouts, 3 walks. That was in his last 6 games. I know he played like crap last night. Judge, 189 average, a home run, 2 RBIs, 13 strikeouts versus the Astros in postseason since 2019. That's 9 games. Don't know what his stats were last night, but it really doesn't matter because they lost. I don't care. He sucked. And Aaron Judge, 5 for 32, 2 home runs, 14 strikeouts this postseason. That was 8 games. Whatever he did last night, add more to it because it wasn't good. All I know is he batted 063. Their best players did not come through in the clutch. Their pitching was not their liability. Their starting pitcher was not their liability. The bullpen was some of it, and their hitting, their main attraction,
and their inconsistency.
What's their downfall? Their hitting was their downfall.
Ted,
they were not clutch. It didn't matter what. And here's the other thing. You can blame Aaron Boone. I do blame Aaron Boone on some of the decision more in the Guardian series because even Severino and Clay Holmes had come out and kind of gave him that look, and then Garrett Cole in Game 3 gave him that look too. But it didn't matter who he put in the lineup. No one was hitting the ball except
Ted,
for Harris.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. because I know you don't want to put all the blame on Boone. That's fine. You just send me a
He gets a
hold on.
percentage. I
You
would
just
go.
send me,
I would
you
go
hold on.
50. Wait,
I know, but
50
listen.
on the players, 25 on him, 25 on Brian Cashman,
Here's my
because
thing too.
the players still have to
20
play.
minutes
Well, they
20
did not.
minutes ago, you just sent me a text
Yeah,
of
what I say?
showing the different lineups
Oh
of the
yeah.
New York Yankees. That's on Aaron Boone. The inconsistency from a manager that doesn't know because he's listening to nerd ass guys in the analytics department that want to tell him, "Oh, this guy should play because he got a better career batting average against Justin Verlander or whatever." No, you got to just go with your gut sometimes, man. You just got to go with the gut. Go with your heart. This guy is too hesitant to do everything. His decision making, he's scared. He got outmanaged by Alex Cora. He got outmanaged by AJ Hinch. He got outmanaged by Kevin Cash, and he got outmanaged by Dusty Baker.
No, I don't think he got
He
out.
gets
He didn't get out.
he
Dusty
gets
Baker didn't outmanage him.
he
When your
gets
bullpen comes in, Trev, when your bullpen comes in and shuts and just strikes out everyone, that's not good management. That's just better players.
he
I mean,
just makes better overall decisions.
here's the other thing. It helps. It's like the Monday morning quarterback. It always helps when your players come through. When you bring in a guy off the bench and he comes in and hits the walk-off home run, it's like, what a move. He
When you
comes in
got
and
play,
strikes
but
out.
Trev, when you
Listen,
got
I agree with
players,
you. Trev, I agree with you, Boone. I don't want Boone no more. The party's over, bro. The party is over. The door has been closed. I've seen enough of the same shit. It's over.
yeah,
Don't need to see it no more.
mhm.
The party's over. Close the door. Start fresh. Start from scratch, like Dad does when he cleans out the shed. Take everything out and put some of the stuff back in. And whatever you don't need, you put in the goddamn garbage, and the other stuff you put back and you organize it. We know what we want, Trev. You're going to bring back Stanton because of his contract. We got to bring back Judge. That's an whatever. You got to bring him back. You got to go home. You got to go home. You can't stay away. What are we, animales? You got to go back. You got to go back, like the good fellas. Okay, you got to go back. We got to get Judge, but we're
You
gonna
got to
have
go
to
back
pay
to
him.
you got to go back to Karen. Karen, I'm still gonna go out.
But you're gonna
Karen,
have,
I'm still gonna go out.
now you're gonna have to pay him as the highest paid player in Major League Baseball, close to $40 million. So
I
now the
bet he
Yankees.
lost. I bet he lost a lot of money though.
No, he didn't lose money because he's still going to get the contract. Here's
That
the problem,
postseason,
though. This Yankee team, when they won the World Championship in 2009, they had overspent more than anyone else in Major League Baseball. The Yankees don't do that no more. The Mets do that. So now, if I'm a Yankee fan, are we closer to the Mets, where a losing franchise that's cheap, or are we the old Yankees, where you know what, hell with it? We're going to buy our champion. Because here's the thing: 4 of the 5 highest paid salary teams in the Major League Baseball made the playoffs, and one of them in the World Series. 4 of the 5 top teams that spent the most money in Major League Baseball made the playoffs. So if you want to win, you have to spend the money. You are not going to win in Major
and
League
look at
Baseball
Ted, and look
by
at
cutting corners.
and Ted.
IKF,
Look, but
gone.
Ted,
Gleyber Torres,
but Ted
gone.
also,
Josh
but that
Donaldson, gone. Gotta go.
Ted, that's
Aaron
not
Hicks,
even a hold
gotta
on.
go. Chapman's
That's
gone. Britton's
okay.
gone.
Here's the thing. That's not even that's a statement overall in sports. And just look at the NFL. Look at what teams do. Look at the NBA.
Yeah, but they have salary caps, Trevor.
I get
Major League
I
Baseball doesn't have
Ted,
salary caps.
I know which makes it even worse. Which makes it even that much more worse because they don't have the salary cap. You can pay as much as you want. Go over it. At least, I mean, you see in the NBA, you see what the San Francisco 49ers, the LA Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just a handful of teams that have gone all in approaches and eventually turned out to be championships. This Yankee team seems to be scared, and I like to say the perfect saying like we always like to say. The New York Yankees are playing checkers, and everybody else is playing chess.
Well, here's the thing: it's cheap. They're cheap.
You're that's not this is not the New York
And
Yankees
listen,
are
here's
not
the other
known.
thing.
The New
You guys
York
said one
Yankees are
last
not
thing.
known. Hold on. The New York Yankees are not known for being cheap. The Yankees
One,
need to get and I don't care. Good. You can be all mad. Oh, they bought the chair. Okay.
one last thing.
That's what sports has become.
I
All
get it,
in
but
now.
here's the one last thing with this Yankee thing. All we've done is talk about the Yankees. At the end of the day, can't believe I'm going to say this, but I praise the Houston Astros. All they do is go to the World Series and win. Well, sorry, they don't win championships, but all they do is go to the World Series. What's this? The fourth World Series in 6 years.
Yeah.
They lost to the Braves last year. They've lost to the Nationals.
Yeah.
They beat the Dodgers. And who else did they lose to?
Well, they lost to the Red Sox.
Oh, but
Lost
they've
to the
been in the
Red
World
Sox.
Series. Listen, you got to give them credit. And I was thinking you were going to guys like they lost Cole. They lost the other pitcher that they had, the other Greinke. Doesn't
Oh yeah,
matter.
Zach Greinke.
They got guys that fill in there. They lost a closer that was really
Yeah,
good.
look at Christian Javier. The kid looks like a stud.
Well, here's the other thing. Who was their other closer back in the day that was really good? They had, but now Presley's was dominant.
Presley's been lights out for them.
But I can't think of their closer. But all their moves, Kyle Tucker, the young guys, Jordan Alvarez, they've developed their players. And listen, I guarantee the Houston Astros do analytics too. But I bet that's not their base of how they run their thing. And here's the other thing. Their lineup doesn't change.
Nope.
They know what they're getting into. Dusty Baker brings a calmness about them. And here's the biggest thing, Trev. We've talked about this all the time. Basketball, baseball, football, doesn't matter what sport. Your best players have to come through in the clutch when you need it to, man. You mentioned guys before, heart and toughness and all this other stuff. Derek Jeter, bro, watch the show. There is no we'll get him next year, like he said in the movie. That's 12 months away. That's not how Derek Jeter
I want to be playing right now. Your season's over. And the way that the Yankees just lost.
Jeter might have rubbed people the wrong way, but you knew that there was an expectation.
You got embarrassed by the team that's been embarrassing you. And I even hate to say it right now, but I can't stand them. Pedro Martinez isn't wrong. The Houston Astros have become the New York Yankees' daddy. And sorry, Yankee fans. Look, I love the New York Yankees, but we got to get a slap of reality in the face.
This was the culmination of how you put the stamp of approval? Yeah. This was the stamp. You went from 7 games to I don't even know what the last couple, 6, 5. It doesn't really matter. You got swept. The year that you thought you were going to get over the hump, you got swept. You are not a better team than you were 5, 6 years ago. You are not.
No, that was peak.
And here's the other thing. Aaron Judge, we'll go into the offseason moves and what the Yankees have to do because they have some issues they have to take care of. What are they going to do with Chad Green, Chapman, Britton, Tyone? Rizzo's got an option. Miguel Castro. Judge is the first thing. What do they do with that? You know what I mean? So what are the Yankees going to have to give him a 31-year-old, 32-year-old guy who honestly, I think Charles sent us in the text this morning. What's he like a less than a 200 batting average in the playoffs?
Yeah, I got the stats right now. I don't know if this has changed since last night, but his career batting average, I got 216, 36 hits, 13 home runs, 25 RBIs, 29 runs, and 43 career postseason games. I don't know if that's updated because of last night's game, but batting 216 as the New York Yankees' best player since 2017 is a major issue in the postseason. Yeah, what you did this year was tremendous, remarkable, historical. I get that. But as a New York Yankee franchise, you know what the goal is year in and year out. It's winning championships. And anything but a championship is a failure of a season. And the New York Yankees, once again, the same old message has been on repeat. It's poetic justice like last night was. Get our hopes up, and the New York Yankees go back to New York Yankee baseball. It's time for the New York Yankees to look in the mirror, just like your team over in the gridiron, the New York Giants just did a few months ago. It was time to clean house because it wasn't working, and they did the right decision. Now look at the New York Giants. We're not going to talk about the New York Giants. We're going to talk about them tomorrow. We're going to talk football tomorrow, but look at the New York Giants right now. They might not have the greatest team, but when you get a coaching staff and you get a whole new regime, things can change very quickly, and it's changing right now with Big Blue. The New York Yankees need to look in the mirror and say, what are we doing? Because changes need to be made, and if the Yankees don't, then shame on them. Shame on them. That's all I got to say, because this was the final straw. You can't get swept by this team, and you just got embarrassed on your home field. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow discussing Week 7, the New York Giants and New York Jets. Well, they just keep on winning, but a huge loss today for the New York Jets. Breece Hall, breaking news, torn ACL. Fantastic rookie season comes to an unfortunate end, and we'll be talking about the old-timers. I think Father Time is catching up to the GOAT and that guy Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of troubling going on in those teams. But ladies and gentlemen, you can check us out, like I said, live show here on Facebook. And if not, the audio will be on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcasts. We are Keys of the City. We'll see you tomorrow. We're out.
You are now in tune to the Keys to the City podcast.